So Zach and I are driving around the Palouse. That's one of the biggest grasslands in the country. It looks like that. It's all bumpy and covered with grass and hardly any trees and dotted with farmhouses here and there. And we left Pullman just a short while ago. I don't know where we are, but
well, we're outside Colfax.
Outside Colfax. And all over the place are these little tiny farms that are out in the middle of the near treeless grassland. And hey, they got some trees planted around that house. That makes it kind of look a little less standy out in the middle of nowhere-ish.
If we follow this road and keep on going on this road, we'll end up in a fellow. But I think we'll turn off before then, because that's going into the interior of the state, central.
So we're on our way to Lincoln City. This is the beginning of our Lincoln City adventure. Whatever adventures await us that you will see later in this video have not happened to us yet, and we don't know anything about them. It's a complete surprise. So stay tuned and catch us later. So is the Palouse huge agriculture, or is it all dotted with farms like this?
These are all ag. This is all ag.
So big time industrial sized?
Oh, yeah, this is some of the most profitable wheat in the country for this particular type of wheat. Washington is enormous agriculture. Many of the crops that are grown either on the larger acreage, or certainly they're more profitable than New York. I know for potatoes, Washington has the most yield per acre of potatoes than anywhere on the planet. Idaho has more acreage than we do, but we produce more per acre. A hell of a lot more per acre. The common crop rotations that you'll see out here will be winter wheat, sometimes followed by spring wheat, and then followed by either a dry pea, a lentil, chickpea, or basically a non-wheat rotation.
And the legume fixes nitrogen?
Yes. And it's also not wheat, which is very important, because when you have two wheat rotations, you build up weeds. That being said, there's a few places that have figured out how to do continuous wheat. And they've been continuous wheat for 70 years plus in some cases. I don't think they're in Washington. I want to say it's Montana, Nebraska, somewhere not too far away from here is where wheat has been continuously grown for over 100 years. Which is a very different production system.
Kind of like other places out west, the landscape here is really big compared to the landscape in the east.
Yep.
Somehow it's just larger, and the horizon is often farther away.
You can see some of the bulb patches right there, where the topsoil was depleted by something. And unfortunately, once a spot is depleted, it's not economically feasible to go in and fix it.
So there's a lot of farmhouses just out in the middle of Palouse. sitting on a hill in a curvy but otherwise grassy, barren landscape. Well, not barren, but treeless, I guess is what I was looking for.
Yeah.
It's so strange to see houses in a treeless landscape because you can see them at such a huge distance. I guess that's why this looks like such a large land. There's no trees to break up the view.
Good point. This is kind of more of your conservation tillage and what it looks like. Where you leave the stubble. No-till often leaves taller stubble. This is a good example of it. And what I mean by taller stubble on no-till is it's more like shin high, going on knee high, depending on how high they want to leave it.
So we seem to have entered a part of the land with a lot less agriculture and a lot more rocky buttes around. It's not so smooth.
This area receives many fewer inches of rain compared to Pullman. Not enough to support a lot of agriculture. You'll see animals raised out here shortly. I'm told these rocky buttes, the ones that aren't next to the road, were exposed by a great flood in the last ice age from Canada. I'm told those rocky outcroppings over yonder was the maximum height of the flood. And so, whereas Pullman was shaped largely by wind, this was shaped by water. And then the fine-tuned touches were done by wind. This is dryland agriculture without irrigation. The wheat fields are grown every other year, and on the off year, they leave the stubble so that the rain will infiltrate. You need 2 years worth of rain to get 1 year's worth of wheat. So you can see the rotation. The green patches are where they're cropping wheat this year, and then there's the bare patches. And the bare patches they maintain either with herbicide or tillage to keep the weeds from going out of control. Say washed up now. Yeah, it does. Yep.
And suddenly we just open up into a giant valley of sagebrush.
Memory at this point. We're in Oregon now.
Are we?
Yeah, there was just a sign, welcome to Oregon.
Woo, Oregon.
We ain't Washington no more.
Uh-oh, I didn't bring any Oregon money.
If you have West Coast dollars, it's all good.
Oh, I figured there was somewhere up here where we'd probably have to exchange it. Looks completely natural to me.
I was just going to say. I wonder if they're using the trees for biofuel or timber. I mean, that's the only two things I can think of.
They're trimmed like for timber, I think.
Yeah, true.
I mean, that's why you take the lower branches off, is so you want good... that looks like a giant timber farm to me.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Double lane block. What does it mean? They've got us totally crawling.
We're not even going 10.
Like 5 miles an hour. And they're not letting anyone go by. The orange cones suggest that they work for the state. But they could be just dicks and trucks. What does it mean? Alright, so this is the Columbia River. Although we're nowhere near Columbia. This is the Columbia River. Zach and I are at a place called Viewpoint. We're about an hour and a half east of Portland. We're on the Columbia River. There's a lot of river here. I think it's the view of the river is what we're looking at. Yeah. But we also have a nice view of some windmills, which I think look just fine. So the temperature here is, it's a little breezy. I'd say it's about 60s. Upper 60s, high 60s. Humidity it feels kind of normal actually, considering that we're in such an arid area. I'm surprised, but we are right next to a river.